Now, big local news: campaigners fighting against the HS2 project through Warwickshire say plans for the so-called Green Tunnel through Burton Green are nothing more than greenwashing. The design for the tunnel would see a long concrete tunnel built in the middle of the village and then covered with trees to try and disguise the concrete. Well, in a statement on their website, Steve Fancourt, HS2's senior landscape design manager, says this.
Our designs show how we will drape the landscape over the tunnel by placing soil to conceal the tunnel roof, to support new native woodland planting, reconnected wildlife corridors and new public footpaths. New ecological features such as wildflower species found locally and bat and bird boxes will create bigger and better wildlife habitats.
Let's hear what Joe Rukin's got to say, an anti-HS2 campaigner from Kenilworth. Afternoon, Joe. What's wrong with this tunnel?
Well, what's wrong is that HS2 have sent out a greenwashing press release, and 12 years later you're still just, quoting off what they're saying, because they won't put someone up. What they do is they'll get basically you to report the story, and therefore, to give it that little bit of extra, credibility. And what they're building here, they're saying it's a green tunnel. No, it's a grey tunnel. It's concrete. They're building a concrete trench right through the middle of Burton Green, and then they're sticking a concrete slab right over the top of it and sprinkling a little bit of soil, put some grass on, and hey presto, that's a green tunnel. Apparently, what a green tunnel would have been was the proposals that the village actually put through, which would have been a 2-mile tunnel, which would have saved 5 ancient woodlands in the area and not actually cause anything like the sort of damage and carnage that you can currently see on Cromwell Lane. You stand on the Cromwell Lane railway, the old railway bridge there, and you look towards Broadwell's Wood, and there's over 100 metres of ancient woodland gone there because HS2 decided that's how much we need to take.
But I understand, yeah, and obviously, we know you're very passionate. We talked to you about this a lot. But isn't this a bit like fiddling while Rome burns? The scheme is going ahead, the route's been decided, work has started, nothing's going to stop it. They're going to try and hide the line the best as they can. And guess what? Their argument is that it has been a success in Kent. It's provided new walkways,
You're reading off the press release as saying, we're going to have new footpaths. And when they say new footpaths, what they mean is we're going to restore some of the footpaths in the area that we're destroying. Not all of them, and they think that counts as new footpaths. Not as many footpaths as you used to have, that counts as new footpaths. They're building it. It's going ahead. I'm not saying that this is, going to stop this happening. HS2 have put out their press release today, and you've rung me up because you want, some sort of response to it. And the response is, this is greenwashing, and you're falling for it again.
Well, it's not a case of falling for it again, Joe. We need to show both sides of the story, and there'll be people...
Get them on and get them to justify what they're doing. And they won't do it. They're getting you to read it out for them because that gives it an air of credibility and respectability amongst the listeners of CWR.
Okay. Well, bearing in mind, like I keep saying, the line's going to be built anyway, what would your solution be?
Well, our solution would have been they should have had the 2-mile tunnel that would have gone all the way under Burton Green. It would have saved, Broadwell's Wood, Ruffnall's Wood, Birch's Wood, parts of Crackley Wood, and it would have come out round about the A46. I'll tell you what, the A46 at the moment is a great example of how these things should be done. Because you see where they're putting in that second bridge to build a roundabout at Stoneleigh. If you come out from Cov towards Kenilworth, you'll see on the slip road, on the old slip road, they've cut down some trees, but there's a load of trees that they've left up. And what that means is when they put that bridge in, those trees will become trees in the roundabout. And that's the right way of doing it. If HS2 was building it, those trees would be gone. The trees on the other side of Slip Road will be gone. All you have to do is say, go down to, Off Church and see the Fossway Welsh Road junction. It looks like a Somme battlefield at the moment. That was a road junction for over 2,000 years. They didn't even bother doing archaeology on it, and everything, they have just shredded it. They have pulled up every last living thing out of the ground there, and then they say, building a green tunnel here, and it's just ridiculous that they can attempt to greenwash what is effectively a concrete trench with a slab over the top as green.
I mean, obviously, and it is, you make a passionate argument. That is for sure. I mean, do you think going forward there'd be any way of you trying to work in some sort of consultation with them, or just offer your plans to them? What sort of reaction have you had when you have tried to do this, Joe?
No, the only reason that they ended up with the concrete slab in the first place, I suppose, was because HS2 originally were going to have this bit of HS2 taking over about a 200-yard section of the old Kenilworth Greenway, because what had happened was when they first put these proposals forward, they thought, how do we thread this through to Birmingham Airport? And they'd looked on the map, because they never actually came out and did a route survey. They looked at them and thought, oh, disused railway, brilliant, answer to all our prayers. And what they didn't realise at the time is, oh, yeah, what we're proposing is 10 times wider than that. So to have done an overland route there in the cutting, they'd have had to knock down pretty much one side of Hodgett's Lane completely, and that's why they put the cut and cover tunnel in. It's because that they completely messed it up right from the start, and this was the only solution that they could have to not actually completely devastate the village.
Joe, is there anything they've got right in your opinion?
Well, they've made a lot of money for a lot of people. People who've been lobbying for it, they've made billions out of it. And all of a sudden, every time that the cost of HS2 goes up, oddly enough, the people lobbying for it lobby harder. They think it's an even better idea when the price goes up.
Well, they're not here to defend themselves on that argument,
No,
but I'm asking you...
They won't do tricks.
I know, but can you just answer my question, which was, you're passionate, and, anybody with any sense would go, look, this guy has got a passion. He knows his stuff about the wildlife, the walkways, the trees. Have you tried to say to him, look, let's sit around a table. I have got some ideas. I know this is going ahead anyway. I can't stop that, but I can stop any potential, as you say, really bad devastation which could be avoided. Have you tried?
Oh, yeah, we tried banging our head against a brick wall for the best part of a decade, and they simply don't listen. We even had a full parliamentary process where people in affected areas could go down and appear before a committee of MPs, and HS2 made loads of promises there, and all you have to do is look around here and see how many of them are broken. Like just here, great example where we are in Burton Green, Crackley Lane, Bockenden Lane, they said that would close for 2 weekends altogether. They've closed it for over a year during lockdown. They're taking land that they said that they wouldn't do. They're building construction compounds that they said they wouldn't do. You look at Stoneleigh, they cut down loads of trees that they're not meant to have done. They simply do not listen, and they do not care, and all they do is they spin and spin and spin.